What are the most absurd questions someone asked you about Australia? People from Quora are sharing their experiences. I've been asked of how we're coping with having our guns taken out of us by Americans. Then you try to explain that Australia never had what you would call a gun culture, and that I need to protect my family thinking, because I don't think the average Aussie thinks that there are people out there planning their death. Jeff Hoey commented. Glenn Shriver replied,
I was talking to someone in US on the 4th of July, their time. She asked what I was doing for the holiday. I said that it's not a holiday here as we don't celebrate American Independence Day. She then asked where our next holiday was. I said October. She expressed surprise that we had no holidays in summer. I pointed out that it was a winter here. She then asked, what month is it there?
Guy Hearn replied,
Not absurd, quite cute really. It demonstrates that for many people in many parts of the world, Australia really vanishingly remote. I was in Mexico on a bus going to the town called Laguna Gardens. It was a long trip and we stopped in every settlement to pick up and drop off passengers, and sometimes stopped in the middle of nowhere to pick up passengers who magically materialized out of the landscape. Anyways, at one stage middle-aged farmer got on board and sat next to me, carrying a rooster in a cage on his lap. After a while he turned to me and asked where I was from. Australia, I said. He thought about this and looked at the rooster with a deep thought in his eyes. Then he turned to me and asked, which direction is that? I thought about it in turn and pointed in my best approximation of the direction of Australia. A smile of recognition came over his face.
Ah, in the mountains.
I agreed that it was indeed in the mountains, which is probably explained my dodgy Spanish to his satisfaction. Of course, when I go to the Laguna Gardens, I got a more familiar response.
Australia. I got a cousin in Vienna.
But I like the mountain response much more.
Alien from Oz has also shared his experience on Quora.
A friend visited from Great Britain and she stayed with us in the mountains. She said she hadn't realized we had mountains here. She had been under the assumption that it was all desert with the occasional beach. My friend was amazed that what she thought was a continent with deserts and a few beaches was actually so productive. I told her that we also have rainforests, tropical ones in the north and temperate ones in the south. We'll also get more snow than in Switzerland on the mountains in the winter. I wonder how she thought we feed ourselves. Maybe living on a sheep meat and prawns. Oh, and she also thought the capital of Australia is Sydney until I told her it's Canberra where I live. So I like to think she had an education while she was there.
And some more really stupid questions from Americans.
Do you ride kangaroos?
How come you speak really good English?
What language do you speak in Australia?
Say something in Australian for me.
My brother is going to Australia. Which language should he learn?
That's the country in Europe with kangaroos and koalas, isn't it?
Bullshit. Thank you.
If any Aussie ever tells you he used to have a crocodile as a pet when he was 16, he's rather trying to get a beer out of you or having sex with you.
Same goes if you kept a shark in a family pool or had a pet koala in a backpack in a school. You'd be surprised of how much people want to believe that shit.
And the last but not the least story from David's story. I was visiting my cousin in England a few years back and got to his next door neighbor. He asked me some ridiculous questions about what it's like in Australia. I live in Brisbane, capital of Queensland, a city of 2.5 million people. So he said to me, how do you put up with driving hundreds of miles through desert to get shopping? Then do you have sealed roads, plumbing and flashing toilets? Seriously, how ignorant can you be to think we are in the Victorian area and the rest of the world has left us behind? Also, there's mandatory elections in Australia, like in communist country. Maybe someone knows why. Please share it in comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and I'm gonna see you soon.